Namaskar, good morning. You are watching Rajya Sabha Television. I am Smriti Rastogi with Breakfast News. Let's begin the bulletin with the headlines. In his first Mann Ki Baat radio address of the year, Prime Minister Narendra Modi appeals to people using violence to settle issues to return to mainstream, asserts that insurgency in Northeast reduced through peaceful dialogue. Good indications for Indian economy in the last 2 months, says Nobel laureate economist Abhijit Banerjee, points out that India made huge dent in poverty in last 30 years. In China, coronavirus deaths touch 80. More than 2,700 people infected. No Indian affected by the outbreak. Government closely monitoring the situation. On 71st Republic Day, India celebrates its military might, cultural diversity, social and economic progress at colourful parade in Rajpath. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Republic Day chief guest Brazilian President Bolsonaro attended at-home reception hosted by President Ramnath Kovind. India wins second T20 international at Auckland by 7 wickets. Take a 2-0 lead in 5-match series. KL Rahul declared man of the match. Third match at Hamilton to be played on Wednesday. Our top focus this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that violence cannot be a solution to any issue and any problem can be solved by seeking solutions and not by creating another one. He was sharing his thoughts in the 61st episode of Mann Ki Baat program on Sunday. He said, few days ago in Assam, 644 militants from 8 militant groups surrendered and expressed faith in peace. He added that in Tripura, more than 80 people left the path of violence last year. The Prime Minister said those who had picked up weapons thinking violence could solve problems, now firmly believe that only way to solve any dispute is peace and togetherness. He said insurgency in the Northeast has come down and efforts are being made to resolve issues of the region peacefully through dialogue.
देशवासियों को यह जानकर बहुत प्रसन्नता होगी कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में इंसर्जेंसी बहुतेक मात्रा में कम हुई है और इसकी सबसे बड़ी वजह यह है इस क्षेत्र से जुड़े हर एक मुद्दे को शांति के साथ ईमानदारी से चर्चा करके सुलझाया जा रहा है। देश के किसी भी कोने में अब भी हिंसा और हथियार के बल पर समस्याओं का समाधान खोज रहे लोगों से आज इस गणतंत्र दिवस के पवित्र अवसर पर अपील करता हूं, वे वापस लौट आए, मुद्दों को शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से सुलझाने में अपनी और इस देश की क्षमताओं पर भरोसा रखें। हम 21वीं सदी में हैं, जो ज्ञान, विज्ञान और लोकतंत्र का युग है। क्या आपने किसी ऐसी जगह के बारे में सुना है जहां हिंसा से जीवन बेहतर हुआ हो? क्या आपने ऐसी किसी जगह के बारे में सुना है जहां शांति और सद्भाव जीवन के लिए मुसीबत बने हो? हिंसा किसी समस्या का समाधान नहीं करती। दुनिया की किसी भी समस्या का हल कोई दूसरी समस्या पैदा करने से नहीं, बल्कि अधिक से अधिक समाधान ढूंढकर ही हो सकता है। आइए हम सब मिलकर एक ऐसे नए भारत के निर्माण में जुट जाएं, जहां शांति हर सवाल के जवाब का आधार हो, एकजुटता हर समस्या के समाधान के प्रयास में हो और भाईचारा हर विभाजन और बंटवारे की कोशिश को नाकाम करे।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the proposed Gaganyaan mission will be a historic achievement for India in 21st century. He praised the 4 pilots of the Indian Air Force who have been selected as astronauts for the mission.
2022 में हमारी आजादी के 75 साल पूरे होने वाले हैं और उस मौके पर हमें गगनयान मिशन के साथ एक भारतवासी को अंतरिक्ष में ले जाने के अपने संकल्प को सिद्ध करना है। गगनयान मिशन 21वीं सदी में साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में भारत की एक ऐतिहासिक उपलब्धि होगा। नए भारत के लिए यह एक मील का पत्थर साबित होगा। साथियों, आपको पता ही होगा, इस मिशन में एस्ट्रोनॉट यानी अंतरिक्ष यात्री के लिए 4 उम्मीदवारों का चयन कर लिया गया है। ये चारों युवा भारतीय वायुसेना के पायलट हैं। ये होनहार युवा भारत के कौशल, प्रतिभा, क्षमता, साहस और सपनों के प्रतीक है। हमारे ये चारों मित्र अगले कुछ ही दिनों में ट्रेनिंग के लिए रूस जाने वाले हैं। मुझे विश्वास है कि यह भारत और रूस के बीच मैत्री और सहयोग का एक और सुनहरा अध्याय बनेगा। इन्हें 1 साल से अधिक समय तक प्रशिक्षण दिया जाएगा। इसके बाद देश की आशाओं और आकांक्षाओं की उड़ान को अंतरिक्ष तक ले जाने का दारोमदार इन्हीं में से किसी एक पर होगा। आज गणतंत्र दिवस के शुभ अवसर पर इन चारों युवाओं और इस मिशन से जुड़े भारत और रूस के वैज्ञानिकों एवं इंजीनियरों को मैं बधाई देता हूं।
The Prime Minister said the new decade of 2020 has brought a new ray of hope in the life of the Brurian community. He was referring to the agreement which has ended the 25-year-old problem of the refugee crisis. Prime Minister Modi also congratulated Assam government and people of the state for successfully hosting 3rd Khelo India Games. Prime Minister Modi also said that government has now decided to organize Khelo India University Games, and the first edition of the games will be held in Cuttack and Bhubaneswar in Odisha from 22nd of this month.
हमने खेलो इंडिया यूथ गेम्स की तर्ज पर ही हर वर्ष खेलो इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी गेम्स भी आयोजित करने का निर्णय लिया है। साथियों, अगले महीने 22 फरवरी से 1 मार्च तक ओडिशा के कटक और भुवनेश्वर में पहले खेलो इंडिया यूनिवर्सिटी गेम्स आयोजित हो रहे हैं। इसमें भागीदारी के लिए 3000 से ज्यादा खिलाड़ी क्वालिफाई कर चुके हैं।
Prime Minister expressed confidence that after interaction with students in Pariksha Pe Charcha, the youth is brimming with self-confidence and is ready to take on the challenges. He also appreciated the participation of people in water conservation, saying Jal Shakti campaign, which commenced last monsoon, is taking rapid and successful strides with public participation. The Prime Minister also mentioned about the Padma Awards, saying that these awards have now become the People's Awards. Eminent economist Abhijit Banerjee has said that there are some good indicators for the Indian economy in the last 2 months. Banerjee was speaking at the session at the Jaipur Literature Festival. The 58-year-old India-born American economist, however, said we should worry about finance sector. He further said that there is a huge reduction in poverty in India in the last 30 years. He mentioned that poverty was 40% in 1990 and now it is less than 20%. Since the population has grown, it is an enormous reduction in the number of poor people. Banerjee, an Indian origin economist, was jointly awarded the Nobel Prize in Economic Sciences along with the French-American wife Esther Duflo and American economist Michael Kremer for their experimental approach to alleviating global poverty last year.
पिछले 2 महीने में थोड़ा सा अच्छे इंडिकेटर्स आ रहे हैं। कुछ इंडिकेटर्स अभी टर्न अराउंड हुआ है। ये कितने दिन तक चलेगा और इसके पीछे क्या हो रहा है ये मुझे पता नहीं है, क्योंकि अभी डेटा नया आ रहा है। The last 30 years have had huge reduction in poverty. Poverty was 40% in 1990 and now it's closer to less than 20%. Poverty has been reduced hugely. That's in proportion. In absolute terms, since the population has grown, that's an enormous reduction in the number of poor people. So, there's no question that that's been one of the great successes of the world.
The government has issued the preliminary information memorandum for 100% stake sale in national carrier Air India. As per the bid document issued today, Air India would also sell 100% stake in low-cost airline Air India Express and 50% shareholding in joint venture AI SATS. AI SATS is a joint venture partnership between Air India and Singapore Airport Terminal Services Limited, which provides ground and cargo handling services. Management control of the airline would also be transferred to the successful bidder. The government has set March 17 as the deadline for the submitting the expression of interest. EY is the transaction advisor for Air India disinvestment process. And now all the news from the upcoming Delhi Assembly elections. Campaigning for the Delhi Assembly election has intensified. Home Minister Amit Shah is scheduled to hold 2 public meetings in support of the BJP candidates in Delhi today. He will address public meetings in Rithala and Janakpuri. BJP President JP Nadda will also address election rallies in Delhi's Narayana Vihar, Delhi Cantonment and Moti Nagar. Apart from the BJP, leaders of Aam Aadmi Party and Congress are also campaigning. Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal will hold road shows in Narela, Bhawana and Gandhinagar today. Home Minister Amit Shah on Sunday took out a road show in Gonda Assembly constituency in Delhi in support of the party's candidate from the area, Ajay Mahawar. Delhi BJP Chief Manoj Tiwari, who accompanied the Home Minister, said that people of Delhi wanted a BJP government in the city and that Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal had failed to take care of the public services. He appealed to the people to vote for the BJP. Our nation celebrated the 71st Republic Day on Sunday with a grand military parade and exhibition of its history, cultural diversity and strategic weaponry at the Rajpath in the national capital. President Ramnath Kovind unfurled the tricolour and took the salute of the parade. President of Brazil was the chief guest at the parade this year. The national flag was unfurled, followed by the national anthem with a booming 21-gun salute. The Republic Day ceremony commenced with Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying homage to the martyrs at the National War Memorial instead of Amar Jawan Jyoti. The parade started from Vijay Chowk and proceeded towards the Red Fort grounds. It was commanded by Parade Commander Lieutenant General Asit Mistry, General Officer commanding Headquarters Delhi area. The winners of the highest gallantry awards followed him. They include the winners of the Paramveer Chakra and Ashok Chakra. 16 states and union territories and 6 central ministries participated in the parade, from depicting Goa's Save the Frog campaign and Back to Village program of Jammu and Kashmir, which participated in the parade for the first time as a union territory, to Kulu Dashera festival in Himachal Pradesh, Rath Yatra in Odisha, and Iyengar and Ayanar deity statue in Tamil Nadu. 22 tableaux with varied themes rolled down the Rajpath in different colours. Startup India, Jal Jeevan Mission and financial inclusion were some of the themes of the tableau of ministries and departments. Women Power 2 was on full display during the celebrations. Captain Tanya Shergill, a 4th-generation army officer, led an all-men marching contingent of the Corps of Signals. Women personnel of the Central Reserve Police Force performed jaw-dropping stunts as their motorbikes raced down the Rajpath. The Air Force tableau displayed models of the Rafale aircraft, Tejas aircraft, light combat helicopter, Akash missile system and Astra missiles. The major attraction was the flypast of the newly inducted Chinook and Apache helicopters, along with Sukhoi and advanced light helicopters. Anti-satellite weapon mission Shakti, Army's battle tank Bhishma were also showcased during the 90-minute-long parade. 16 marching contingents from the Armed Forces, Paramilitary Forces, Delhi Police and NCC, along with 13 military bands, were also the centre of the attraction. The ceremony culminated with the national anthem and the release of the colourful balloons. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Union Ministers including Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari, Nirmala Sitharaman, Prakash Javadekar, BJP President J.P. Nadda, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Congress President Sonia Gandhi, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, BJP veteran Lal Krishna Advani were among those who were present on the occasion. And as India celebrated the 71st Republic Day on January 26, the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir saw its first Republic Day as a Union Territory after the erstwhile state was bifurcated into two Union Territories last year. In Jammu, Republic Day was celebrated with patriotism, happiness and enthusiasm across the division amid tight security arrangements. The main function was organized at Maulana Azad Stadium, Jammu, where the Lieutenant Governor G.C. Murmu hoisted the national flag. In his address, the Governor said that 2019 was a year of a major change for the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
पिछला वर्ष जम्मू और कश्मीर के लोगों के लिए एक महत्वपूर्ण बदलाव का वर्ष रहा। अस्थायी प्रावधानों के निरस्त्रीकरण ने जम्मू और कश्मीर और देश के बाकी हिस्सों के बीच कृत्रिम कानूनी और आर्थिक बाधाओं को दूर कर दिया है और इसने सही मायने में जम्मू कश्मीर को पूरी तरह से देश के साथ एकीकृत किया है.
While in newly formed Union Territory of Ladakh celebrated the Republic Day in a grand scale, the celebration started with remembering the martyrs. Ladakh Lieutenant Governor R.K. Mathur laid a wreath at Leh War Memorial at Hall of Fame. Republic Day was celebrated with patriotic fervour in Karnataka as well. Governor Vajubhai Wala asked citizens to value the democracy which we have gained after a long freedom struggle. In Chennai, Tamil Nadu Governor Banwarilal Purohit hoisted the national flag in an impressive Republic Day function. He took salute of the parade by the contingents of defence and paramilitary forces, the state police and the students. Chief Minister E.K. Palaniswamy gave away awards for gallantry and meritorious services. All states joined the nation to celebrate the Republic Day on Sunday morning. The day was celebrated with great fervour all across the country. And President Ram Nath Kovind hosted at-home reception at Rashtrapati Bhavan on the 71st Republic Day. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with other dignitaries, attended the reception. Brazilian President also attended the event. He was the chief guest of the Republic Day parade. The President met a number of dignitaries during the at-home reception inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The reception is held on the occasion of Republic Day every year. Brazilian President, who is on a 4-day visit to India, will today address a group of Indian and Brazilian business leaders at the India-Brazil Business Forum. Later in the day, he will also visit Taj Mahal in Agra. He was the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations this year. In an interview to Doordarshan, The president of Brazil spoke about increasing cooperation in the energy sector with India.
We do have a great deal of shared interests and desires, such as, for example, joining the UN Security Council. Brazil and India account for 1.5 billion inhabitants, and we rank among the world's 10 largest economies. And our closer ties and relations will certainly ensure that the world will look at us in a different light.
And some more news. An accord with all factions of the banned Assam-based rebel group National Democratic Front of Bodoland, giving political and economic provisions to the Bodos, will be signed today. The tripartite agreement will be signed in the presence of Home Minister Amit Shah and Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal in Delhi. Agreement will be signed by top leadership of the four factions of the NDFB. All Bodo Student Union, Joint Secretary of Home Ministry Satyendra Garg, and Assam Chief Secretary Kumar Sanjay Krishna. It will be the third Bodo Accord to be signed in the last 27 years since the violent movement for a separate Bodoland state began. It has claimed thousands of lives and caused the destruction of public and private properties. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy has convened a cabinet meeting today. The meet reportedly is aimed at approving a resolution to abolish the Legislative Council. The resolution could be moved in the Assembly later the same day. The Assembly will have to adopt the resolution with 2/3 majority for it to be sent to the centre for Parliament's approval. Meanwhile, the opposition Telugu Desam Party has lashed out at the Chief Minister for the proposal. While the YSRCP has a majority of 151 out of 175 seats in the Assembly, the TDP has a majority in the Council with 28 seats. A TDP delegation led by former Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu had met Andhra Governor over the issue on Friday. And now let's talk about the environment and climate change. Australia's bushfire crisis is likely to contribute up to 2% of annual increase in the atmospheric carbon dioxide levels. Post the forest fires, the atmospheric concentration of major greenhouse gas is expected to hit 417 parts per million in May. Australia generally contributes about 1.3% of the annual global emissions under UN greenhouse accounting rules. Concentration of more than 450 ppm is associated with average temperature rise of 2 degrees above the pre-industrial levels, a point at where some catastrophic efforts of global warming may become irreversible. Emissions from bushfires are considered to be climate neutral in carbon counting, as forest regrowth absorbs a similar amount of carbon dioxide as was released while burning. But it has been observed that many burnt areas never recover their pre-fire state. The number of people killed in China by the coronavirus has risen to 80. The overall number of confirmed cases in China is 2,744, out of which more than 300 are critically ill. Wuhan, the source of outbreak, is in lockdown and several cities have imposed travel bans. More than 500,000 medical staff have joined prevention, control and treatment operations in Hubei. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang has paid a visit to coronavirus-hit Wuhan city, a first such visit by top leader. Meanwhile, the Ministry of External Affairs on Sunday confirmed that no Indian in China has been affected by the outbreak of the coronavirus so far. The MEA added that the Indian embassy in Beijing is in touch with the Indian students studying in Wuhan and Hubei and other Indians living in different parts of China. MEA spokesperson Ravish Kumar tweeted on Sunday that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is closely monitoring the situation. He added that 3 helplines have been made operational at the Indian Embassy in Beijing to address the concerns of the Indians without any delay. US basketball legend Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna are among the 9 people killed in a helicopter crash in the city of Calabasas, California. Bryant was traveling in a private helicopter when it came down and burst into flames. There were no survivors. Bryant, a 5-time NBA champion, was widely considered one of the greatest players in the game's history. He played his entire 20-year career with the Los Angeles Lakers. He retired in April 2016. His achievements include being the 2008 NBA Most Valuable Player and 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He was also NBA scoring champion twice and 2-time Olympic champion. Tributes from celebrities and fellow sports stars have been pouring in, many expressing shock at his sudden death. And in cricket, India beat New Zealand by 7 wickets in the second T20 international match at Auckland on Sunday. Chasing the target of 133 runs, India made 135 for the loss of 3 wickets with 15 balls to spare. KL Rahul top scored 57 of 50 balls and remained not out. He was declared player of the match. Shreyas Iyer made 44 of 33 balls. Earlier, Indian bowlers struck intermittently to restrict Kiwis to the modest 132 for 5. Opting to bat, the Black Caps could not generate enough momentum in the middle overs and finished with a subpar total. India leads the 5-match series with 2-0. The third T20 will be played in Hamilton on Wednesday. And that's all we have for you in this edition. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.